संसारदावानललीढलोका त्रणाय कारुण्यघनघना त्वम् प्राप्तस्य कल्याणगुणनवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् महाप्रभु कीर्तन नृत्य गीता वादित्रमाद्यन्मनसोरसेना रोमाञ्चकम्पा श्रुतरङ्गबाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहाराधननित्यनाना शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमजनादो युक्तश्च भक्तांश्च नियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् चतुर्विध श्रीभगवत्प्रसाद स्वदन्नतृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्गान् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्नाम् प्रतिक्षणा स्वाधनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् निकुञ्जयूनो रतिकेलिसीद्यै यायालिभिर्युक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्रातिदाक्षात् अतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् साक्षाद्धरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रैरुक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभुर्यः प्रियैव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायन्स्तु वंस्तस्य यशस्त्रिसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणरविन्दम् 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 नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदम् Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jai Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Shri Radhe Jai Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Sitaram 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 Jaya Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Om Shripada Brahmamsa Pradikacharya Shtota Shata Shishmatis Divine Grace Aparchana Vrinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON PPTPI Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Shripada Brahmamsa Pradikacharya Shtota Shata Shishmatis Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेमी से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत दातार शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद किले गोवर्धन की जय श्री व्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय श्री पुरुषोत्तम चैत्र चक्रपुरी धाम की जय श्री अयोध्या धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी देवी की जय समावृत भक्तवृंद की जय Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Shri Narasimha Ki Jai. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Prahlad Lad Daine. Prahlad Lad Daine. To Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Lad Daine. Hiranyakashipur Vakshaha. Shilatanka Nakhalae. Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha. Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha. Bahir Narsimha Hirdaye Narsimha. Narsinghamadem Sharanam Prapade. Ar Kamal Vare Nakham Advut Shringam. दलितो हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव कर कमल वरे नखाम अद्भुत श्रृंगाम दलितो हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय हो नरसिंहदेव 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 जय हो नरसिंहदेव 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 जय हो नरसिंहदेव जय हो भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज मणि प्रहलाद महाराज भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज जय हो लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जय हो लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जय हो लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जय हो लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा सिम्हा जय हो लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जय हो लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जय हो लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जय हो प्रहलाद नरसिम्हा जय हो प्रहलाद नरसिम्हा जय हो प्रहलाद नरसिम्हा जय हो प्रहलाद नरसिम्हा जय हो जय हो नर हरि जय हो नर हरि जय हो नर हरि जय शीला प्रभुपाद 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 विघ्न विनाशक मंगलकारी श्री नरसिंह भगवान की जय। महाराज की जय।
वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशव सच विष्णु पांके पदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः।
वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय
वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशव सच विष्णु पांके पदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशव सच विष्णु पांके पदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय।
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्णा प्रेयसी नमो नमः नमो नमः राधा कृष्णा सेवा पावो ए अभिलाषी राधा कृष्णा सेवा पावो ए अभिलाषी శరణలో తారా వంచపూరణ హోయ్ কৃপা করি করো তারে বৃন্দাবন বাসী বৃন্দাবন বাসী মোরায়ে অভিলাষ বিলাস কুঞ্জে দিও বাস বিলাস কুঞ্জে দিও নয়নে হরিব সদা যুগল রূপরাশি যুগল রূপরাশি এই নিবেদনা ধারো সাখীর অনুগাতা করো সাখীর অনুগাতা করো সেবাধিকারা দিয়ে করো নিজ দাসী दीना कृष्ण दासे कोई ये न मोरा होए श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा ये न भासी श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा ये न भासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्णा प्रेयसी नमो नमः प्रेयसी नमो नमः यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणाशन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे तानि तानि प्रणाशन्ति यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि प्रदक्षिणा पदे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani. Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani. Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi. Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी वृंदा देवी की जय। वृंदाए तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णु भक्ति प्रद देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वृंदाए तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णु भक्ति प्रद देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वृंदाए तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णु भक्ति प्रद देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय।
Residence in the precious growth of Shiva and Davnatham. Thus within my vision I shall behold the beautiful person Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me follow Kaur Danso's virtue. Please give me the privileged devotional service and make me your own maidservant. This very fallen lowly servant of Krishna praise. May I always swim in the love Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Tulsi Maharani ki jai. There are 10 offenses in the matter of chanting holy names that should be avoided, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of the demigods, Allah, Shiva, or Brahma, to be equal to independent name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature pursuing the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glory of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities and strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities, offering the Vedas as fruity activities, karma, ganda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments in understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve desired success. Krishna Prema. Now let us have our most humble obeisances on all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just as trees who can fulfill to everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Shri Chaitanya Shastra Ki Jai. Jeto Darpana Marjanam Pavamaha Davakni Nirvapanam Shriya Gairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamita Sadanam Sarvatamasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha Eta Dishi Tavakripa Bhagavam Mamapi Durudaiva Mi Disham Yaha Janina Nurakaha Trinata Pi Suni Jena Tarora Pi Saishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Harihi Na Thanam Natanam Nasundarim Kavitamba Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Jamani Jamanishware Babata Bhaktir Haituki Tavayi Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Duri Satesham Vichintaya Nayanam Galadashuru Daraya Vatanam Gadgada Rudaya Gira Pulaka Nichitam Mapurkata Tavanama Grahane Bhavishati Yuga Itam Nimishena Chakshusha Pravisha Itam Shunya Itam Jagasarvam Govinda Virahe Name Ashirishava Padaratam Pinnashtumam Adarshanam Marmhatam Karotuva Yatha Tathava Vidathatu Lampato Madprana Nathastu Seeva Naparaha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam Ki Jai. Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes fire of conditional life for repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays and benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone grants all benediction to human beings. Thus you have hundreds of millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have vested all transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out kindness enables us to easily approach you by holy names, but I am so unfortunate and have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more taller than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotion service, birth after birth. O Son of Mahajananda Krishna, I am an eternal servitor, yet somehow I fall in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the Adams at your lotus feet. O my Lord, while my eyes spectacular tears of love flowing constantly when I chant the holy name, when my voice choke up, when hairs my body stand under recitation of your name. O Govinda, feeling your separation causes a moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything, everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam Ki Jai. Shri Mangala Charna Prayers Ki Jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Patakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Desha Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhavin Namaha Madhuryo Jala Premade Shri Rupa Nuga Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravanishi Mutaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruta Pasitanta Dwantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Saksha Vairagya Mutaye Vipalambara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Bhava Bhumistvam Nirtishta Sajana Priyaha Vaishnava Savapama Shri Jaganathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpaturupishcha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishin Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Sratoro Pango Mama Manda Mater Kati Masarvasva Padam Bhojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vindadana Kalpadumata Srimad Nagara Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtaribi Sevyamano Samarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsi Vata Tatastitaha Karsham Venu Saner Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Mangala Charna Prayers Ki Jai Shri Brahma Samhita Ki Jai Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadya Radya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Parakara Satmasu Kapaviksha Lakshariteshu Surabi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasam Pramasevyamanam Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Venum Kavanantam Aravinda Talaya Taksham Parharvatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kantarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobam Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Alola Chantakalasa Vanamari Vamshi Ranangadam Panayakeli Kalavilasam Shamam Tipanga Laditam Yata Prakasham Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Angani Yasya Sakalindriya Viddimanti Pashanti Panti Karayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chimme Satu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Advaitam Achotam Anadi Mananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durabam Madurabam Atma Bhakto Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Pantastu Koti Shatavassara Sampragamyo Vayurathapi Manaso Muni Pangavanam Sopiyasti Yaprapada Simya Vichinta Tatve Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ekopya Sarachayitum Jagatanta Kotim Yachakti Rasti Jagatanta Jayaya Dantaha Antantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yad Bhava Bhavita Diyo Manujasta Teva Samprapya Rupa Mahimasana Yana Bhushaha Suktayam Eva Nikama Patitai Stuvanti Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ananda Chimme Rasa Patibhavitabi Tapi Evan Jarupa Taya Kalabihi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhutto Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Premanjana Churuta Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sateva Hitayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundam Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ramadi Murtishu Kalanyamena Tishtan Nanavatarama Karo Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhava Paramapumam Yo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami. Krishna, who is not Govinda, is the Supreme Godhead. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and is the prime cause of all causes.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute with blooming eyes like lotus, petals with head decked with peacock's feather, with the figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers beautified with the moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shyamasundar is eternally manifest.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of the transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas but obtainable by pure, unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years.
He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof in his work of creation of millions of worlds. His potency remains inspirable, all inspirable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore.
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas by gaining the appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidants, Sakhis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Syam Sundara Krishna, himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion, tinged with the salve of love.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and the different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Nrsimha, Vamana, etc., as his subjective portions.
Sri Brahma Samhita ki Jai. Bhagavad Gita 7.1 purport. शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्ता हिस्तौ हि अपत्राणि विद्नोति सुहृत्सतं नष्टप्रयेष्व अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैस्तिकी तदा राजास्तमो भावा कामा लोभादयश्च ये चेत एतैरनाविदं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थेश्चिद्यन्ते सर्वसमस्याः क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दृष्टा एव आत्मनीश्वरे.
To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity, and for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him.
In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord.
By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished.
When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly.
Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamsam samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 5. Pratyujamyumu praharsena pranam tanva iva gatam avisangamya vidivat pariswangabhivadhanai. Prati, towards, ujagmuhu, went, praharshena, with great delight, pranam, life, tanva, of the body, eva, like, agatam, returned, abhisangamya, approaching, vidivat, in due form, pariswanga, embracing, abhivadhanai, by obeisances. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. With great delight they all approached him, as if life had returned to their bodies. They exchanged obeisances and welcomed each other with embraces. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the absence of consciousness, the limbs of the body remain inactive. But when consciousness returns, the limbs and senses become active, and existence itself becomes delightful. Vidura was so dear to the members of the Kaurava family that his long absence from the palace was comparable to inactivity. All of them were feeling acute separation from Vidura, and therefore his return to the palace was joyful for all.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 6. Mumuchu prema bhashpaugam virahautkanthya katara rajatam arhayam chakre kritasana parigraham. Mumuchu, emanated, prema, affectionate, bhashpaugam, emotional tears, viraha, separation, Autkantya, anxiousness, Katara, being aggrieved, Raja, King Yudhishthira, Tam, unto him, Vidura, Arhayam Chakre, offered, Krita, performance of, Asana, sitting accommodations, Parigraham, arrangement of. Translation. Due to anxieties and long separation, they all cried out of affection. King Yudhishthira then arranged to offer sitting accommodations and reception.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 1, 13. Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 7. तं भुक्तवन्तं विश्रान्तमासीनं सुखमासने पश्यावन्तो राजा प्राह तेषां च शवतामं तां him Bhuktavantam, after feeding him sumptuously, Vishrantam, and having taken rest, Ashinam, being seated, Sukham Asane, on a comfortable seat, Prasarya, Avanta, naturally very gentle and meek, Raja, King Yudhishthira, Praha, began to speak, Tesamcha, and by them, Sanavatam, being heard. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. After Vidura ate sumptuously and took sufficient rest, he was comfortably seated. Then the king began to speak to him, and all who were present there listened. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Yudhishthira was expert in deception, also even in the case of his family members. Vidura was well received by all the family members by exchange of embraces and obeisances. After that, bathing and arrangements for a sumptuous dinner were made, and then he was given sufficient rest. After finishing his rest, he was offered a comfortable place to sit, and then the king began to talk about all happenings, both family and otherwise. That is the proper way to receive a beloved friend or even an enemy. According to Indian moral codes, even an enemy received at home should be so well received that he will not feel any fearful situation. An enemy is always afraid of his enemy. But this should not be so when he is received at home by his enemy. This means that a person, when received at home, should be treated as a relative. So, what to speak of a family member like Vidura, who was a well wisher for all the members of the family? Thus, Yudhishthira Maharaja began to speak in the presence of all the other members.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 8. Yudhishthira Uvacha Api Smarata No Yusmat Pakshachaya Samedithan Vipad Janad Visagnayader Mochita Yat Samaktrikaha. Yudhishthira Uvacha, Maharaja Yudhishthira said, Api, whether Smarata, you remember, Na, us, Yasmat, from you, Paksha, partiality towards us like the wings of a bird, Chaya, protection, Samedithan, we who were brought up by you, Vipad Ganath, from various types of calamities, Visa, by administration of poison, Agni Ade, by setting on fire, Mochita, released from, Yat, what you have done, Sa, along with, Maktrika, our mother. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maharaja Yudhishthira said, My uncle, do you remember how you always protected us along with our mother from all sorts of calamities? Your partiality, like the wings of a bird, saved us from poisoning and arson. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Due to Pandu's death at an early age, his minor children and widow were the object of special care by all the elderly members of the family, especially Bhishma Deva and Mahatma Vidura. Vidura was more or less partial to the Pandavas due to their political position, although Dhritarashtra was equally careful for the minor children of Maharaja Pandu. He was one of the intriguing parties who wanted to wash away the descendants of Pandu and replace them by raising his own sons to become the rulers of the kingdom. Mahatma Vidura could follow his intrigue of Dhritarashtra and company, and therefore, even though he was a faithful servitor of his eldest brother Dhritarashtra, he did not like his political ambition for the sake of his own sons. He was therefore very careful about the protection of the Pandavas and their widow mother. Thus he was, so to speak, partial to the Pandavas, preferring them to the sons of Dhritarashtra. Although both of them were equally affectionate in his ordinary eyes, He was equally affectionate to both the camps of nephews in the sense that he was always chastised Duryodhana for his intriguing policy against his cousins. He always criticized his elder brother for his policy of encouragement to his sons, and at the same time, he was always alert in giving special protection to the Pandavas. All these different activities of Vidura within the palace politics made him well known as partial to the Pandavas. Maharaj Yudhishthira has referred to the past history of Vidura before his going away from home for a prolonged pilgrim's journey. Maharaja Yudhishthira reminded him that he was equally kind and partial to his grown-up nephews, even after the battle of Kurukshetra, a family disaster. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, Dhritarashtra's policy was peaceful annihilation of his nephews, and therefore he ordered Purochana to build a house at Varanavata. And when the building was finished, Dhritarashtra desired that his brother's family live there for some time. When the Pandavas were going there in the presence of all the members of the royal family, Vidura tactfully gave instructions to the Pandavas about the future plan of Dhritarashtra. This is specifically described in the Mahabharata Adi Parva 114. He indirectly hinted, a weapon not made of steel or any other material element can be more than sharp to kill an enemy, and he who knows this is never killed. That is to say, he hinted that the party of the Pandavas was being sent to Varanavata to be killed, and thus he warned Yudhishthira to be very careful in their new residential palace. He also gave indications of fire and said that fire cannot extinguish the soul, but can annihilate the material body, but one who protects the soul can live. Kunti could not follow such indirect conversations between Maharaja Yudhishthira and Vidura, and thus when she inquired from her son about the purport of the conversation, Yudhishthira replied that from the talks of Vidura it was understood that there was a hint of fire in the house where they were proceeding. Later on, Vidura came in disguise to the Pandavas and informed them that the housekeeper was going to set fire to the house on the 14th night of the waning moon. It was an intrigue of Dhritarashtra that the Pandavas might die altogether with their mother. And by his warning, the Pandavas escaped through a tunnel underneath the earth, so that their escape was also unknown to Dhritarashtra. So much so that after setting the fire, the Kauravas were so certain of the death of the Pandavas that Dhritarashtra performed the last rites of death with great cheerfulness. And during the morning period, all the members of the palace became overwhelmed with lamentation. But Vidura did not become so, because of his knowledge that the Pandavas were alive somewhere. There are so many such instances of calamities, and in each of them, Vidura gave protection to the Pandavas on one hand, and on the other, he tried to restrain his brother Dhritarashtra from such intriguing policies. Therefore, he was always partial to the Pandavas, just as a bird protects its eggs by its wings.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 9. Kaya vritya vartitam vaschiradbihi kshitimandalam tirthani kshetram mukhyani sevitani ha bhutale. Kaya, by which. Vritya means vartitam, maintain your livelihood. Va, your good self. Charadbhihi, while traveling. Kshitimandalam, on the surface of the earth. Tirthani, places of pilgrimage. Kshetra mukhyani, the principal holy places. Sevitani, served by you. Iha, in the world, in this world. Bhutale, on this planet. Translation. While traveling on the surface of the earth, how did you maintain your livelihood? At which holy places and pilgrimage sites did you render service? Purport. Vidura went out from the palace to detach himself from household affairs, especially political intrigues. As referred to herein before, he was practically insulted by Duryodhana's calling him a son of a Sudrani, although it was not out of place to talk loosely in the case of one's grandmother. Vidura's mother, although a Sudrani, was the grandmother of Duryodhana, and funny talks are sometimes allowed between grandmother and grandchildren. But because the remark was an actual fact, it was unpalatable talk to Vidura, and it was accepted as a direct insult. He therefore decided to quit his paternal house and prepare for the renounced order of life. This preparatory stage is called Vanaprastha Ashrama, or retired life for traveling and visiting the holy places on the surface of the earth. In the holy places of India, like Vrindavana, Haridwar, Jagannath Puri, and Prayaga, there are many great devotees, and there are still free kitchen houses for persons who desire to advance spiritually. Maharaja Yudhishthira was inquisitive to learn whether Vidura maintained himself by the mercy of the free kitchen houses, Chatras.
Bhagavatam 1.13.10 भवतिधा भगवतास्तीर्थभूतः स्वयं विभो तीर्थि कुर्वन्ति तीर्थानि स्वान्तास्तेन गदाभृता Bhavat, your good self, Vidha, like Bhagavata, devotees, Tirtha, the holy places of pilgrimage, Bhutaha, converted into Swam, personally, Vibho, O powerful one, Tirthi Kurvanti, make into a holy place of pilgrimage, Tirthani, the holy places, Swaantasthena, having been situated in the heart, Gada Bharta, the personality of Godhead. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart. You turn all places into places of pilgrimage. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The personality of Godhead is omnipresent by his diverse potencies everywhere, just as the power of electricity is distributed everywhere within space. Similarly, the Lord's omnipresence is perceived and manifested by his unalloyed devotees like Vidura, just as electricity is manifested in an electric bulb. A pure devotee like Vidura always feels the presence of the Lord everywhere. He sees everything in the potency of the Lord and the Lord in everything. The holy places all over the earth are meant for purifying the polluted consciousness of the human being by an atmosphere surcharged with the presence of the Lord's unalloyed devotees. If anyone visits a holy place, he must search out the pure devotees residing in such holy places. Take lessons from them, try to apply such instructions in practical life, and thus gradually prepare oneself for the ultimate salvation, going back to the Godhead. To go to some holy place of pilgrimage doesn't mean only to take a bath in the Gangas or Yamuna or to visit the temples situated in those places. We should also find representatives of Vidura who have no desire in life save and except to serve the personality of Godhead. The personality of Godhead is always with such pure devotees because of their unalloyed service, which is without any tinge of fruitive action or up to pants speculation. They are in the actual service of the Lord, specifically by the process of hearing and chanting. The pure devotees hear from the authorities and chant, sing, and write of the glories of the Lord. Mahamuni Vyasadeva heard from Narada and then he chanted in writing. Sukadeva Goswami studied from his father and he described it to Parikshit. That is the way of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, by their actions, the pure devotees of the Lord can render any place into a place of pilgrimage, and the holy places are worth the name only on their account. Such pure devotees are able to rectify the polluted atmosphere of many places, and what to speak of a holy place rendered unholy by the questionable actions of interested persons who try to adopt a professional life at the cost of the reputation of a holy place.
Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 11.
अपि नः सुहृदस्तथा बान्धवा कृष्णदेवता श्रुता वा यादव स्वपुर्यं सुखनाशते.
Api whether na our Suhrada well-wishers, Tata, O my uncle, Bandhava, friends, Krishna Devataha, those who are always wrapped in the service of Lord Sri Krishna. Drashtaha, by seeing them, Shrutaha, or by hearing about them, Va, either. Yadavaha, the descendants of Yadu. Swapuryam, along with their residential place. Sukham Asate, if they are all happy.
Translation. My uncle, you must have visited Dwaraka. In that holy place are our friends and well-wishers, the descendants of Yadu, who are always wrapped in the service of the Lord Sri Krishna. You have seen them or heard about them? Are they all living happily in their abodes? Purport by His Divine Grace C.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The particular word Krishna Devata, i.e., those who are always wrapped in the service of the Lord, of Lord Krishna, is significant. The Yadavas and the Pandavas, who always wrapped in the thoughts of the Lord and his different transcendental activities, were all pure devotees of the Lord, like Vidra. Vidra left home in order to devote himself completely to the Lord, to the service of the Lord. But the Pandavas and the Yadavas were always wrapped in the thought of Lord Krishna. Thus, there is no difference in their pure devotional qualities, either remaining at home or leaving home. The real qualification of a pure devotee is to become wrapped in the thought of Krishna favorably. I.e. That is knowing well that Lord Krishna is the absolute personality of Godhead. Kamsa, Jarasandha, Shishupala, and other demons like them were also always wrapped in the thought of Lord Krishna. But they were absorbed in a different way, namely unfavorably, or thinking of him to be a powerful man only. Therefore, Kamsa and Sishupala are not on the same level as pure devotees like Vidra, the Pandavas, and the Yadavas. Maharaja Yudhishthira was always wrapped in the thought of Lord Krishna and his associates at Dwaraka. Otherwise, he could not have asked all about them from Vidra. Maharaj Yudhishthira was therefore on the same level of devotion as Vidra. Although engaged in the state affairs of the kingdom of the world.
Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 12. Iti Vukto Dharma Rajena Sarvam Tat Samavarnayat Yatanubhutam Kramaso Vinayadu Kulakshayam. Iti thus Ukta, being asked, Dharma Rajena, by King Yudhishthira, Sarvam, all, Tat, that, Samavarnayat, properly described, Yada Anubhutam, as he experienced, Kramasaha, one after another, Vina, without, Yadukula annihilation of the Yadu dynasty. Translation. Thus being questioned by Maharaja Yudhishthira, Mahatma Vidura gradually described everything he had personally experienced, except the news of the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 13. Nanva apriyam durvisaham dranam swayam upastitam navedhayat sakaruno duhitan drishtam akshama. Nanu, as a matter of fact, apriyam, unpalatable, durvishaham, unbearable, dranam, of human mankind, swayam, in its own way, upasitam, appearance, na, did not, avedayat, expressed, sakarunaha, compassionate, dukhitan, distressed, drishtam, to see, aksama, unable. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Compassionate Mahatma Vidura could not stand to see the Pandavas distressed at any time. Therefore, he did not disclose his unpalatable and unbearable incident, because calamities come of their own accord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. According to Niti Shastra, civic laws, one should not speak an unpalatable truth to cause distress to others. Distress comes upon us in its own way by the laws of nature. So one should not aggravate it by propaganda. For a compassionate soul like Vidura, especially in his dealings with the beloved Pandavas, it was almost impossible to disclose an unpalatable piece of news like the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty. Therefore, he purposely refrained from it.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 14. Kanchit kalam athavastvatsit satkrito devavat sukham bhrathur yigne yestasya shreyas krit sarvesham sukham avahan. Kanchit, for a few days. Kalam, time. Atha, thus. Avatsit, recited. Satkrita, being well treated. Devavat, just like a godly personality. Sukham, amenities. Bhratu, of the brother. Yestasya, of the elder. Shreyakrit, for doing good to him. Sarvesham, all others. Sukham, happiness. Avahan, made it possible. Translation.
Thus, Mahatma Vidura, being treated just like a godly person by his kinsman, remained there for a certain period just to rectify the mentality of his eldest brother, and in this way bring happiness to all the others.
Purport. Saintly persons like Vidura must be treated as well as a denizen from heaven. In those days, denizens of heavenly planets used to visit homes like that of Maharaja Yudhishthira, and sometimes persons like Arjuna and others used to visit higher planets. Narada is a spaceman who can travel unrestrictedly, not only within the material universes, but also in the spiritual universes. Even Narada used to visit the palace of Maharaja Yudhishthira, and what to speak of other celestial demigods. It is only the spiritual culture of the people concerned that makes interplanetary travel possible, even in the present body. Maharaja Yudhishthira therefore received Vidura in the manner of reception offered to the demigods. Mahatma Vidura had already adopted the renounced order of life, and therefore he did not return to his paternal palace to enjoy some material comforts. He accepted out of his own mercy what was offered to him by Maharaja Yudhishthira, but the purpose of living in the palace was to deliver his elder brother, Dhritarashtra, who was too much materially attached. Dhritarashtra lost all his state and descendants in the fight with Maharaja Yudhishthira, and still, due to his sense of helplessness, he did not feel ashamed to accept the charity and hospitality of Maharaja Yudhishthira. On the part of Maharaj Yudhishthira, it was quite in order to maintain his uncle in a befitting manner, but acceptance of such magnanimous hospitality by Dhritarashtra was not at all desirable. He accepted it because he thought that there was no alternative. Vidura particularly came to enlighten Dhritarashtra and to give him a lift to the higher status of spiritual cognition. It is the duty of enlightened souls to deliver the fallen ones, and Vidura came for that reason. But talks of spiritual enlightenment are so refreshing that while instructing Dhritarashtra, Vidura attracted the attention of all the members of the family, and all of them took pleasure in hearing him patiently. This is the way of spiritual realization. The message should be heard attentively, and if spoken by a realized soul, it will act on the dormant heart of the conditioned soul. And by continuously hearing, one can attain the perfect stage of self-realization.
Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 15. Abhidrad Ariyama Dandam Yatavad Agakarishu Yavad Dadara Sudratvam Sapad Varsha Satam Yamaha. Abhibrat, administered. Aryama, Dandam, punishment. Yadavat, as it was suitable. Aga Karishu, unto person who had committed sins. Yavat, as long as. Dadara, accepted. Sudratvam, the tabernacle of a Sudra. Sapat, as the result of a curse. Varsa Satam, for 100 years. Yamaraja. Translation. As long as Vidura played the part of a Sudra, being cursed by Manduka Muni, Aryama officiated at the post of Yamaraja to punish those who committed sinful acts. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Vidura, born in the womb of a Sudra woman, was forbidden even to be a party of royal heritage along with his brothers Dhritarashtra and Pandu. Then how could he occupy the post of a preacher to instruct such learned kings and Kshatriyas as Dhritarashtra and Maharaja Yudhishthira? The first answer is that even though it is accepted that he was a Sudra by birth, because he renounced the world for spiritual enlightenment by the authority of Rishi Maitreya, and was thoroughly educated by him in transcendental knowledge, he was quite competent to occupy the post of an acharya or spiritual preceptor. According to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, anyone who is conversant in the transcendental knowledge or the science of Godhead, be he a Brahmana or a Sudra, a householder or a sannyasi, is eligible to become a spiritual master. Even in the ordinary moral codes maintained by Chanakya Pandita, the great politician and moralist, there is no harm in taking lessons from a person who may be by birth less than a Sudra. This is one part of the answer. The other is that Vidura was not actually a Sudra. He was to play the part of a so-called Sudra for 100 years, being cursed by Manduka Muni. He was the incarnation of Yamaraja, one of the 12 Mahajanas, on the level with such exalted personalities like Brahma, Narada, Shiva, Kapila, Bhishma, Prahlada, etc. Being a Mahajana, it is a duty of a Yamaraja to preach the cult of devotion to the people of the world, as Narada, Brahma, and other Mahajanas do. But Yamaraja is always busy in his plutonic kingdom, punishing the doers of sinful acts. Yamaraja is deputed by the Lord to particular planets, some hundreds of thousands of miles away from the planet of Earth, to take away the corrupt souls after death and convict them in accordance with their respective sinful activities. Thus, Yamaraja has a very little time to take leave from his responsible office of punishing the wrongdoers. There are more wrongdoers than righteous men. Therefore, Yamaraja has to do more work than other demigods who are also authorized agents of the Supreme Lord. But he wanted to preach the glories of the Lord, and therefore by the will of the Lord he was cursed by Manduka Muni to come into the world in the incarnation of Vidura and work very hard as a great devotee. Such a devotee is neither a Sudra nor a Brahmana. He is transcendental to such divisions of mundane society. Just as the personality of Godhead assumes his incarnation as a hog, but he is neither a hog nor a Brahma. He is above all mundane creatures. The Lord and his different authorized devotees sometimes have to play the role of many lower creatures to claim the conditioned soul. But both the Lord and his pure devotees are always in the transcendental position. When Yamaraja thus incarnated himself as Vidura, his post was officiated by Aryama, one of the many sons of Kashyapa and Aditi. The Adityas are sons of Aditi, and there are 12 Adityas. Aryama is one of the 12 Adityas, and therefore it was quite possible for him to take charge of the office of Yamaraja during his 100 years' absence in the form of Vidura. The conclusion is that Vidura was never a Sudra, but was greater than the purest type of Brahmana.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 16.
Abhirad Aryamadandam. No, I'm not. I was on 16 a second ago. It's Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 16. Yudhishthiro labdharajyo दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलन्दरं भ्रातृभिर्लोकपलभैर्मुमुदे परया शिरा.
Yudhishthira, Labdha Rajya, possessing his paternal kingdom, Drishtva, by seeing, Pautram, the grandson, Kulam Dharam, just suitable for the dynasty, Bhratribi, by the brothers, Lokapalabai, who were all expert administrators, Mumude, enjoyed life, Paraya, uncommon, Shriya, opulence.
Okay. Here he comes. Translation. Having won his kingdom and observed the birth of one grandson competent to continue the normal tradition of his family, Maharaja Yudhishthira reigned peacefully and enjoyed uncommon opulence in cooperation with his younger brothers, who were all expert administrators to the common people. But both Maharaj Yudhishthira and Arjuna were unhappy from the beginning of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but even though they were unwilling to kill their own men in the fight, it had to be done as a matter of duty. For it was planned by the supreme will of Lord Sri Krishna. After the battle, Maharaj Yudhishthira was unhappy over such mass killings. Practically, there was none to continue the Kuru dynasty after them. The Pandavas, the only remaining hope. dynasty after them, the Pandavas. The only remaining hope was the child in the room of his daughter-in-law, Uttara, and he was also attacked by Ashwatthama. By the grace of the Lord, the child was saved. So after the settlement of all disturbing conditions and reestablishment of the peaceful order of the state, and after seeing the surviving child Parikshit was satisfied, Maharaj Yudhishthira felt some relief as a human being, although he had very little attraction for material happiness, which is always illusory and temporary.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 1, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 17. Evam griheshu saktanam pramattanam tadihaya atya kramadahita kala paramadustara. Evam, thus, griheshu, in the family affairs, saktanam, of persons who are too attached, pramattanam, insanely attached, tathaya, engrossed in such thoughts, atyakramad, surpassed, avignata, imperceptibly, kala, eternal time, parama, supremely, dustara, insurmountable. Translation. Insurmountable eternal time imperceptibly overcomes those who are too much attached to family affairs and are always engrossed in their thought. Purport. I am happy now. I have everything in order. My bank balance is quite enough. I can now give my children in a estate. I am now successful. The poor beggars and Yasis depend on God, but they come to beg from me. Therefore, I am more than the Supreme God. These are some of the thoughts which engross the insanely attached householder who is blind to the passing of eternal time. Our duration of life is measured, and no one is able to enhance it even by a second against the scheduled time ordained by the Supreme Law. Such valuable time, especially for the human being, should be cautiously spent, because even a second passed away imperceptibly cannot be replaced, even in exchange for thousands of gold coins amassed by hard labor. Every second of human life is meant for making an ultimate solution to the problem of life, that is, the repetition of birth and death and revolving in a cycle of 8.4 million different species of life. The material body, which is subject to birth and death, diseases and old age, is the cause of all sufferings of the living being. Otherwise, the living being is eternal. He is never born, nor does he ever die. Foolish persons forget this problem. They do not know at all how to solve the problems of life, but become engrossed in temporary family affairs, not knowing that eternal time is passing away imperceptibly, and thus the measured duration of life is diminishing every second. Without any solution to the big problem, namely repetition of birth and death, disease and old age. This is called illusion. But such illusion cannot work on one who is awake in the devotional service of the Lord. Yudhishthira Maharaja and his brothers, the Pandavas, were all engaged in the service of Lord Sri Krishna, and thus they had very little attraction for the illusionary happiness of this material world. As we have discussed previously, Maharaj Yudhishthira was fixed in the service of the Lord Mukunda, the Lord who can award salvation, and therefore he had no attraction even for such comforts of life as are available in the kingdom of heaven, because even the happiness obtained on the planet of Brahmaloka is also temporary and illusory. Because the living being is eternal, he can be happy only in the eternal abode of the kingdom of God, Paravyoma, from which no one returns to this region of repeated birth and death, disease and old age. Therefore, any comfort of life or any material happiness which does not warrant an eternal life is but illusion for the eternal living being. One who understands this factually is learned, and such a learned person can sacrifice any amount of material happiness to achieve the desired goal known as Brahma Sukham or absolute happiness. Real transcendentalists are hungry for this happiness, and as a hungry man cannot be made happy by all comforts of life minus foodstuff, so the man hungry for eternal absolute happiness cannot be satisfied by any amount of material happiness. Therefore, the instruction described in this verse cannot be applied to Maharaj Yudhishthira or his brothers and mother. It was meant for persons like Dhritarashtra, for whom Vidura came especially to impart lessons.
Canto 1, chapter 13, text 18. Vidura third abhipretya dhritarashram abhasta rajan nirgamyatam shigram pasyedam vayamagatam Vidura Mahatma Vidura. After that, abhipretya, knowing it well, dhritarashram, unto Dhritarashtra, Abhasata said, Rajan, O king, Nirgamyatam, please get out immediately. Sigram, without the least delay. Pasya, just see. Idam, this. Bayam, fear. Agatam, already arrived. Translation. Mahatma Vidura knew all this, and therefore he addressed Dhritarashtra, saying, My dear king, please get out of here immediately. Do not delay. Just see how fear has overtaken you. Purport by His Divine Grace, His Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Cruel death, case for none, be it Dhritarashtra or even Maharaja Yudhishthira. Therefore, spiritual instruction, as was given to old Dhritarashtra, was equally applicable to younger Maharaja Yudhishthira. As a matter of fact, everyone in the royal place, including the king and his brothers and mother, was rapidly attending the lectures. But it was known to Vidura that his instructions were especially meant for Dhritarashtra, who was too materialistic. The word Rajan is especially addressed to Dhritarashtra significantly. Dhritarashtra was the eldest son of his father, and therefore, according to the law, he was to be installed on the throne of Hastinapura. But because he was blind from birth, he was disqualified from his rightful claim. But he could not forget the bereavement, and his disappointment was somewhat compensated after the death of Pandu, his younger brother. His younger brother left behind him some minor children, and Dhritarashtra became the natural guardian of them. But at heart he wanted to become the actual king and hand the kingdom over to his own sons, headed by Duryodhana. With all these imperial ambitions, Dhritarashtra wanted to become a king, and he contrived all sorts of intrigues in consultation with his brother-in-law Sekuni. But everything failed by the will of the Lord, and at the last stage, even after losing everything, men and money, he wanted to remain as king, being the eldest uncle of Maharaja Yudhishthira. Maharaja Yudhishthira, as a matter of duty, maintained Dhritarashtra in a royal honor, and Dhritarashtra was happily passing away his numbered days in the illusion of being a king or a royal uncle of King Yudhishthira. Vidura, as a saint and as a duty-bound, affectionate youngest brother of Dhritarashtra, wanted to awaken Dhritarashtra from his slumber of disease and old age. Vidura therefore sarcastically addressed Dhritarashtra as a king, which he was actually not. Everyone is a servant of eternal time, and therefore no one can be a king in this material world. King means the person who can order. The celebrated English king wanted to order time and tide, but the time and tide refused to obey his order. Therefore, one is a false king in the material world, and Dhritarashtra was particularly reminded of this false position and of the factual, fearful happenings which had already approached him at the time. Vidura asked him to get out immediately if he wanted to be saved from the fearful situation which was approaching him fast. He did not ask Maharaja Yudhishthira in that way because he knew that a king like Maharaja Yudhishthira is aware of all the fearful situations of this flimsy world and would take care of himself in due course, even though Vidura might not be present at the time.
Priyanaye Yayasheha Kutashchit Kale Chittabo Sa Esha Bhagavan Kala Sarvesham Nahasamgataha.
Pratikriya, remedial measure. Now, there is none, yasha, of which, iha, in this material world, kutashchit, by any means, karhichit, or by anyone, Prabhu, O my Lord, Sha, that, Isha, positively, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Kala, eternal time, Sarvesham, of all, Na, of us, Samagataha, arrived.
Translation. This type of situation cannot be remedied by any person in this material world. My Lord, it is the supreme personality of God as eternal time, Kala, that has approached us all. But there is no superior power which can check the cruel hands of death. No one wants to die, however acute the source of bodily sufferings may be. Even in the days of so-called scientific advancement of knowledge, there is no remedial measure either for old age or for death. Old age is the notice of the arrival of death served by cruel time, and no one can refuse to accept either seven laws or the supreme judgment of eternal time. This is explained before the Drashta because he might ask Vidya to find out some remedial measure for the imminent fearful situation, as he had ordered many times before. Before ordering, however, Vidya informed Drashta that there was no remedial measure by anyone or from any source in this material world. And because there is no such thing in the material world, death is identical with the supreme personality of Godhead. As it is said by the Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita 10.34. Death cannot be checked by anyone or from any source within this material world. Hiranyakashipu wanted to be immortal and underwent a severe type of penance by which the whole universe trembled. And Brahma himself approached him to dissuade Hiranyakashipu from such a severe type of penance. Hiranyakashipu asked Brahma to award him the blessings of immortality, but Brahma said that he himself was subject to death, even in the topmost planets, so how could he award him the benediction of immortality? So there is death even in the topmost planet of the universe. And what to speak of other planets which are far, far inferior in equality to inequality to Brahmaloka, the residing planet of Brahma. Whenever there is the influence of eternal time, there is the set of tribulations, namely birth, disease, old age, and death, and all of them are invisible. Hare Krishna, Kaviraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Today we read up to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, namely the Rashtra case home. We read up to text 19, Hare Krishna. We will start reading tomorrow, on Monday.
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Bando Mui Savadano Te Bando Mui Bando Mui Savadano Te Jara Prasade Bhai E Baba Turiya Jai Jara Krishna Prapti Hoye Jaha Hoye Te Krishna Prapti Hoye Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Kuriya Aka Guru Mukha Arna Kuri Ho Mone Asa Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asa Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asa Jai Prasade Pure Sarva चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेमा भक्ति जहा होते अविद्या विनाश करते अगते वेदे गाय जहर चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधम जनर बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधम जनर बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना
jaya ha Prabhu koro daya deho more pada jaya Ebe jagu shukri bhuvana Srila Prabhupada ilo sharana Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste Nipatarine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Bo Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ramo Ramo Hare Hare Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jayo Gurudeva Jaya 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 Gurudeva Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari He opens my doctrine has to increase my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord birth from birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his scatters, which masters the ocean, mercy the friend of the poor. The Lord and Master of the devotee. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your Lord's feet. Your fame spread all over the world. We take the shelter of your Lord's feet. Prabhupada ki jai.